So you are welcome to another episode of Lagos State Real Estate Market Update. So today we're going to be looking at the prices of products, real estate products within the market in the Lagos real estate market space. Now there's been this, a lot of complications about pricing in Lagos. Who sets the price? How do we evaluate a particular real estate product? How do we know the value of a product, whether you're buying a virgin land, an empty land, or you're buying a fully built estate, or you're buying, a property, a completely built property, a home. There's been this so many doubts about who fixes the price. How do we determine the price of properties, within the Lagos state market? Now, one thing that we cannot take away is that we can't be able to ever take that away from the reality right now, is that the real estate market in Lagos State is thriving, it's moving, it's putting a lot of money in the pockets of investors. We cannot change that. Now, there is no particular individual, for example, who sets the price of real estate products in Lagos. No. And that is why you see two developers or two real estate companies having properties within the same houses and selling for different prices. Now, what makes a real estate product is, number one, the location. That's number one. The location of a property, where the property is sited. What are the closest landmarks? Do you have a supermarket? Do you have a church? Do you have a mosque? Do you have a school? Do you have factories? Do you have companies? Is it a commercial area where you have so many companies operating, where you have, so many schools operating, where you have so many markets operating? Are people residing in that area, in their number, in their thousands, in their millions? That's number one. It's very important. Now, what is the title of the property? So if a real estate company has purchased a very big space of land and they have been able to get a governor's consent, they have a CFO for the whole of the estate, which means anyone who is buying into that estate is able to verify these documents and is able immediately to have his or her governor's consent, having been offered the CFO as a copy to proceed in getting his or her own governor's consent for his or her own property within the estate. That's another reason why properties, that determines the price of the property. Now, we all know the topography of Lagos Island, for example. We know that almost everywhere is swampy. There's going to be dry land, but those are in few cases. Almost everywhere is swampy. So which means if a very good real estate company is investing in a property, they are going to be the ones to do the sand filling. Sand filling a plot of, you know how many tippers of sand, how many trips of sand that's going to cost you to sand fill a particular plot, let's say 300 square meters or 500 square meters, for example. Now, when real estate companies that are up and doing, that are up to date with the trends, when they purchase a particular property, they ensure that they sand fill everywhere. Now, there are so many benefits. For example, the drainage within the estate. It's going to be constructed by this real estate company. The routes within the estate, within the streets inside the estate, are going to be constructed by them. The lighting of the common area, is going to be done by them. They will lighten up the common area using, most of the time, solar street lights to do that. That's the job. Now, they are going to provide maximum security within that estate. And then the building structure, if they are selling buildings within the estate, they ensure that they build standard quality buildings. But let's even forget about buildings. Let's talk about just buying a plot of land within the estate. The number one thing that you get when you buy these properties that we term expensive sometimes is that your money is first of all secure. There is nothing as important as buying a property that has no encumbrances. Nothing is more important. Now, there's a difference between you losing your money than even buying a property above the market price. For example, if you buy a very legit property from the right owner with good documents, with good title, let's say CFO, you buy it 2 million naira, 5 million naira above the market price, and then you buy the wrong property with encumbrances and you lose your land and you lose your money. Which of them is better? Now, for you not to be found wanting on both sides, either buying a product above the market price or buying products that are not even people who do not have legitimate rights to sell, which means you lose your money entirely, or buying above the market price, either of them is wrong. What do you do to now be able to navigate through this process and ensure that you buy lands that are legitimate and you are buying within the market price? What you do is simple. You get a realtor, not just a realtor who is on ground. He's able to tell you the prices of about 3-4 different estates located within different houses and why this is the best deal. For example, most of the times we look at the money here, but most importantly, we look at developers, we look at real estate companies with reputation. We look at what they have done before, we look at their track record, and we use that to judge, because you can't judge the real estate market without comparative analysis. You look at what has happened before, and that is how you know what's going to happen now. For example, some places in Lekki were sold 20 years ago for 600,000, 300,000 for like 6 plots of land. 6 plots for like 600,000, about 100,000. Some persons did not buy. We've heard stories about people who were offered 10 plots, we were offered 20 plots, we were offered 12 plots, 2 acres. And they said, that our place is waterlogged. We can't live in that area. Real estate does not need you to love it. You don't buy locations because you love them. You don't buy land because you love land. You don't buy properties, housing units because you love housing units. No, you buy them because it remains the surest way of creating generational wealth. If you buy a location and let's assume you build 2-bedroom flats, about 6 units of it, your house appreciates in price, in rent. The rental value appreciates, and the price of the land itself appreciates at the same time. So even when the rent increases from 2-bedroom from 1.5 to 2 million to 3 million, the property itself is appreciating at the same time. But this boils down to you doing 2 things, like we have always said: buying the right properties and buying the best of location. If you do these 2 things, of course, it's easier for you to navigate real estate. So the market price right now in Lagos is what it is. You're not going to change that by refusing to buy now, because for those who refused 5 years ago to buy, what happened to them? Definitely they came back buying above what they ought to buy before. Development in Nigeria is cited here in Lagos. The population that move into Lagos every day, the immigration level in Lagos is high. People migrate, people move into Lagos in their thousands every day. So the housing deficit in Lagos tends to increase every day, each day. And that is why you see the real estate industry in Nigeria, in Lagos most especially, no matter how many properties that people put up every year, it is not enough. It will never be enough. Our property at Urban Prime by Abamadesa Ajah, Lagos State, when we started selling 2 years ago at 15 million, now it's going for 35 million for 500 square meters. You cannot change the fact that every day development is moving towards Lagos. No matter how crowded it is, no matter how highly populated it is, every day people tend to move because they believe there are a lot of opportunities seated in Lagos. If you want to own real estate properties, ensure that at least you own them in the best of location, and Lagos is the best of location when it comes to real estate investment in Nigeria. We can help you buy properties, and we can send you documents wherever you are in the world. But we always recommend that you send someone for inspection. If you're not in Nigeria, get a lawyer, get your siblings, get your friends, get your mother, get your father, get somebody to inspect and see the property. If you're not in Nigeria, if you're in Nigeria, come by yourself. Move around, look at 1 or 2 estates, see the reasons to buy, evaluate people who bought some years ago. What's the value? So people who bought Urban Prime 2 years ago, they've doubled their money. Now our Northview Estate Bogija is running promo. I've always said, buying properties, if you want to make money as an investor in properties, the first thing that you do is to go into off-plans. Every estate that is newly launched that has good documents, you have all governor's consent, they sell cheap at the beginning for the first 6 months. After the first 6 months, the price seems to double, and you cannot help it because these people who own these properties have invested a lot. So if we have invested a lot, and we who are bringing the properties to you are saying, okay, these are documents that you need to verify before you start making payments. If you already love this location and you're able to verify these documents using your lawyer, and then you come back to us, within that first time, we need to raise money to develop the estate. We need to raise money to start up with the drainage and other things after taking care of the perimeter fencing, ensuring that your property is enclosed inside the estate. The next thing that we do is to raise money to do other things, to start up other projects within the estate. So people who buy within the first 6 months, we've always said they buy way below the market price. But after that, after 6 months, you buy within the market price. So if you bought a property for 10, 15 million naira, after 6 months, it's going for 25 million. You already make 10 million. So properties appreciate faster within that 6 months than it does after the 6 months, because you bought above the market price, and now you're making 10 million already. You don't expect to make that same in the next 1 year. No, you might not make that. So in the next 1 year, you may make another 5 million, which makes it 50 million. Then you double your money in 1 year. So you must understand that the profit is made on off-plans. That is why the off-plan remains the game of developers. It remains the game of investors. People who own more than 40 properties in Lagos, who buy properties, they bought them all on off-plans, because that is the best time to buy when you are an investor. Even as a homeowner who wants to live in the property, you buy off-plan, and after 6 months, after 1 year, you have made 10 million. And that is why some persons flip up the property at the end of the day, because if you buy a property for 60 million, for example, and at the end of construction within 1 year or a year and a half is going for extra 10 million, sometimes they sell them off, they flip them. Ensure that you have